Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vibe Show. Today we have a very special guest with us, my good friend from the University of Toronto, Ms. Saga, as well as an individual whose sense of style always impresses me. Please give it up for Arian Salari.
Hello. Thank you very much.
So, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing fantastic. It's a rainy day out there, but I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure, and it is our pleasure to have you. So,
Pleasure.
for everybody to get to know you a bit better, how about you tell us about what you do in your free time, your hobbies?
Sure. My hobbies mostly include fashion. I would say fashion is my main. I'm shopping or being involved in the fashion community and stuff like that. It's definitely one of my top-rated passions, I'd say. Aside from that, I really like just going out, seeing things are out there, exploring the city. Also like video games. I play all the time with my friends. This is basically like the gist of my hobbies and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I heard you also have a YouTube channel. In fact, I watched the first episode.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. I'm glad you watched it. That's good to hear. Yes, I have a. It's called The Life and Times of Arian. Um, I've been thinking about starting it for a while, and I just started about a month ago, I think. It's good. I think it's a good side thing to have, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful channel, guys. I'm gonna drop the link in the description of this video. You know, show some love for our friend Arian over here. He
Thank
puts
you.
so much effort into his videos.
Thank you very much.
Arian, so tell us, where do you come from?
Um, I was born in the country of Iran, but very early on in my early years, when I was 4 years of age, I moved to England, the city of Liverpool, and that's where I've been most of my life until I came here for university. That's basically my story.
All right, buddy. So we're in a university series interview. So our first question
Sure.
by default will be, what program are you studying in and what university? Well, I kind of gave that away, but what university you went to?
Surely. I started my first year at University of Toronto, Mississauga in 2015. I was in life sciences, and eventually I enrolled in biology and psychology major, and that's what I graduated with. Bio and psych major, basically.
Oh, that's very cool. And so the courses you take in your program, I guess, are bio and psychology related.
Mostly they were bio and psych. Here and there, I had some history, some sociology, obviously, to satisfy the requirements, but mostly I've been in bio and psych courses. Yes.
That's cool, cool. And what inspired you to take on bio and psychology?
Um, Biology was there's two different kind of stories. Biology was my passion from the beginning. I come from a scientific family. Everyone's in sciences and stuff. So it's always been kind of in the back of my head. I've always been interested in it. And psychology, that's a different story. Psychology, I didn't think that I'd be interested in, but summer of 2017, I took Psych 100, and I thought, wow, this is so interesting. So I kind of got into it recently. I was like, wow, this is some really interesting stuff. I didn't know it was my passion, but very soon I figured out that psych also could be one of my passions out there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, thank you for telling us that story of inspiration. So,
Surely.
with this program, where do you plan on taking it? Do you have any short-term goals, any long-term goals?
Um, Before all of this university stuff, it's always been my goal to become a doctor. In Canada, it's a very difficult path to
Oh, I
become a
know.
doctor.
It's a
It's a very
slaughterhouse.
difficult. Absolutely. I think I was reading somewhere one of the statistics said that it's only 18% of the students in Canada eventually go to medical school, which is a very just daunting statistics, I would say. But I think that my long-term goal is to hopefully eventually get into med school. At the moment, my short term is to try and go into a master's that I'm kind of interested to basically ease my path into the medical school. So I have my master's and then my medical school basically.
Like that's such a talent to have everything planned out. You know.
Well, I mean, it sounds like I've got it planned out, but at the moment it's a bit of a limbo. But I, I, thank you.
Hey, sometimes the best plan is not to have a plan at all, right? So
Exactly.
it's how
Absolutely.
we live it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What kind of doctor do you want to become?
Um, I was always interested in cardiology, the study of heart, cardiovascular, basically. Um, I think that's still my passion. I think if I eventually get into it, that's where I'll be heading.
Well, I'm sure, and I'll speak on behalf of myself and everybody listening, that you will be very successful wherever you
Thank
go
you
to in
very much.
medicine. You know, you have the
That's very
personality,
kind of you.
the extroverted personality that a doctor should have.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll also share a small story with you. My cardiologist, I asked
Yeah.
him, I also want to become a doctor, which is why I find it
Yeah.
so cool. You know, and I asked him, what should I go into? Should I go into cardiology or ophthalmology, which is like the eyes?
Yeah.
And he's a cardiologist himself. So he said, well, let's start with this. People have two eyes, but one heart. So go into ophthalmology.
Absolutely.
Or else, because if you mess up here, then it's, it's
Then it's
half.
over.
But
Oh
that's
my
a
god.
really respectable field. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you remember where we met, by the way?
Oh my God. I think that was in first year orientation.
It was expert
Was it
interviews.
expert?
Do you, expert the first responders at UTM. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are
That's
you
what we
still part
met.
of it?
Oh no, I'm out of it.
No, me
Did
too.
you end up going?
No, I ended up going for a bit, but it just got a bit chaotic. People are really good and all, but it's
For
just
sure. I get it. Yeah.
the
No, I feel
scheduling.
you. Me too. Me too.
Hey, you should join the Mascati Medical Club. We'll take you with pleasure.
I've seen it. Yes, surely. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, the activities we try to do is to, um, okay, so it all began with this Med School 101 club, right?
Yeah.
It was the most hilarious thing ever. So they invite us for like this brief orientation. And we're like,
Yeah.
okay, so cool. What are we going to be doing? Shadowing doctors, going to the operating room. Like, okay, so we're going to make blood worms for the next Halloween event coming up.
Oh my
So,
god.
it's.
Oh my
And then we
god.
had one med school guy come in for like a 30-minute session to explain something to us. That's it.
Oh my. Sounds like a scam to me.
Yeah, because
Full
it
on
is.
scam. Oh my god. That's daunting. I'm sorry.
What about advice? So, one of the core questions is what advice would we give to first years entering university right now?
Um, I have a bunch of advices actually. I'm going to give them to you in a very brief format. Well, the first advice is, and I think the most important advice is that when you get into university, there's always like you hear people say, "Oh, you should definitely study hard, study 10 hours, 20 hours, or don't ever lift your head from." None of that. One of the worst things that could happen to you is you burning out. Burning out is worse than you walking into a test and not knowing anything, because burning out can last for a very long time. And I think that my advice to the first who's coming in is that to not be intimidated by all this work. If you need to take some time, if you need a break, a day or two, you need to go out, kind of change of scenery. Definitely do it, because if you don't, and if you keep studying for like long hours, you're going to burn out, and burning out is not good for the long run. So definitely take time for yourself. That's my first advice for sure.
Remember by 206?
Oh my days, by 206. I definitely remember by 206.
University is full of surprises sometimes, no
It
matter how
definitely
much you
is.
prepare.
Bio 206 was um it was a nightmare. That's all I'm gonna say.
Literally.
It was a nightmare. Um, second advice is to there's a lot of fantastic people, fantastic societies, clubs, all that stuff on campus. Definitely use the resources. I didn't use the resources when I was in my first and second year. I didn't get into all of that fun stuff until when I was like in third year. So definitely just be involved in community. It's good. You'll be amazed at what kind of resources you can eventually find.
Tell us, how have you been involved in the UTM community?
Um, well, there's lots of ways you could get involved in UTM community. Personally, myself, well, first of all, you and I met at Expert. That's that's definitely that was one of the ways I was involved in the community for a very brief period of time, but it was kind of there. Um, During my time, I worked for the student union, this UTMSU. Very friendly and accepting environment. I thought it was definitely for the first years who are coming in, they should definitely just check UTMSU out. There's always positions for the first years to kind of get involved in the community. I was volunteer coordinator and I was orientation leader. After that, I was in the athletic council. Also, a good way to get involved in the community, especially in the athletic community. Um, and I've been a part of a bunch of clubs. I think Global Brigades is probably one of my favorite clubs of all time because it's for a good cause and the involvement is just it's just fantastic. The work they do is beautiful. This is some of the stuff I did back in my time at ATM basically.
Alright, well, thank you so much for joining us, Arian. I'm sure university students will benefit a lot from the advice you've given. I wish you, on behalf of myself and everybody else, the very best in your future master's program, then med school. You'll become great in whatever you do in medicine. And, just know that our support is always with you, buddy.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. Come again.
Absolutely, we'll do.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye now.
Hello, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Please leave us a like, subscribe, and I really, really look forward to seeing you next time. Love y'all and take care.